Hey guys, welcome back to the Check-In podcast. My name's Megan.
And my name's Amy.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about
hiring. So experience v learner.
Yeah, so we've just taken on a new lady here at the studio. So she will have started by the time that you watch this video. So we just wanted to get into it a little bit of the pros and cons. Or maybe not the cons, but like the pros of like an experienced therapist and
the
then
differences,
a learner.
between the two. And I guess with hiring at the moment, it feels relevant and
Exactly.
Yeah.
And nice like, for people that are going to job interviews and also for people that are hiring.
Yeah.
So for me, well, it all depends on the person. I think personality is like, skill can always be taught if the person's willing to be taught.
Yeah.
But personality fitting, for me, what I look for when I hire someone or do the interview process is someone that is going to fit with us, really. And that's like, and embodies what we do here. And that's the main gist of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and also their treatment being, I mean, the person that I've hired, her massage is fantastic. So that is like really one of the good pulls. But I also think she's just going to be a great fit for us here. And obviously it's hard to tell because you never really know until someone fully starts. So we were just going to discuss a little bit of that. I mean, when Amy started, she was a learner.
I was a learner, yeah.
And actually, mostly everyone that I've hired has been a learner here.
Well, no, everyone. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. Stick with mostly.
Yeah. But like in the past, if I've hired someone but not on behalf of like my own business, they've had a little bit more experience. But then that's more meeting the criteria of my past like employers. But just going on the basis of here, it's just... I think sometimes when you're new to the industry, it can be quite daunting to put yourself out there.
Massively, yeah.
And feeling like you always get the typical, like, make sure you have like 3 years minimum, like experience or something like that. And I just think you get those rare people. There's a hair on my face, I think. I can feel that.
Can't see anything.
Like by my nose?
No, you've got one here, but not.
Thank you. It can be, some people don't always, for me, if I seen a job, I just apply for it, even if I'm not got the qualified details. But for some people, they don't do that. They want to make sure they're meeting all the criteria.
Yeah.
And...
Do you think like the employers, they're going to put up their best case scenario, like what they would love to have?
Yeah.
But like you said, sometimes you're just the right person for the job. And if you are a learner, you can...
Sorry.
It can be a pro, really.
Yeah.
Because...
I personally think it is. Just because, for me, if you're trying to get new concepts across and you do things in a slightly different way, if you have someone with years of experience, people can be adaptable, but they also can be set in their ways and quite, like, strongly set in their ways. And someone who is more of a learner... or has just gone through that process, is in that stage of, like, willing to learn, willing to adapt. And when you've come just straight out of a course or straight out of college, there is that bridge where it needs to be filled of, like, this is what you do at college and this is what you do actually in the workplace. So I think, for me, not that I have a preference and not that I wouldn't hire someone with more experience, I just like the creativity to be able to, like, adapt and mould that person into the right fit for here.
Yeah. As well, I think with learners, they haven't got... I think with experience, you can pick up bad habits as well.
Yeah.
Like
anything.
Yeah, of course, like anything. But yeah, it's like, it's fresh for you. As it, like, obviously, I don't know as an employer point of view, but for you, I can imagine it's fresh. You can bring someone in, you know how you like things done, so you can kind of tell them that, and that's how they're going to do it because they've got nothing else to really compare it to.
Yeah.
Whereas when you bring someone in who's got experience, they could be incredible, and like you said, experienced people are amazing, but they will have their own ways of doing things, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But they will have their own ways of doing things, their own ways, or their own thoughts on how things should be done.
Yeah. And I still like to take that on board because that's some of the nice stuff you get when you hire someone new. They do have an input
New
and
ideas, yeah.
they have also their vision. As much as I want to push my vision and what I want for the place, I still want to hear like new ideas, fresh ideas from people that, because I've been in this industry for a fairly long time. So people that have just come up new, it's nice to hear fresh ideas and new thoughts and just different perspectives, because often you just get lost in your own perspective of things.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to have, nice to have people to connect with over a similar interest, which is what we do.
Yeah, I would just say there's definitely pros to both sides, and don't get put off, like as employers, don't get put off by the learners, the new people to the industry. And like you said, as the new people and the learners, don't just apply for everything. It's worth doing, because if you're the right person, well, like with all of the people that you've employed here, or like we said, most of the people you've employed here have all been learners, and they've all pretty much been the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we?
No, and they have. And thing is, I think when you take on new people, it slightly like shifts every time, and you slightly like find this other path that you're taking, or like as you're navigating growing bigger, almost, because until you're actually growing, you can't always, like, you can see where you want to go, but it can like slightly change and alter all the time. And this thing is more like to give a perspective on, a lot of people now in this industry are very like, everyone wants to do it for themselves, which is fantastic. And if you want to do that, like, go for it. But there is also that other option of working somewhere, and like working your way up and whatnot. And it's just like and especially when you come straight out of that environment, I do think there's so much to learn. And if you don't have people guiding you that have done it and are in the industry, like going somewhere employed, you're not always going to get that knowledge. And just
definitely,
like, because when I first went, I knew I've always wanted to own something myself, but I also knew I needed that path before. And that's why I did the spas. And I've just learnt so much, because even in the mechanics of how a business actually works, but more even like when I first left college, I think I've said before, we did aromatherapy, and we would mix our blends ourselves, like put the essential oils in, like create a custom blend, which is lovely, but not necessarily something that you actually can do in real life, because your insurance wouldn't cover that unless you've got insurance for products. But it's such a nice like concept of it. But then when you go into an actual workplace, it's a lot of pre-blends. And I used to, when I went in, I remember my first, and I was thinking, what, I don't have to make like a blend. And also, I mean, you could do it as an aromatherapist, like mix, like the mixology of it, but it's tricky. And it also, I don't know, it's a nice idea to make a custom blend. But if, say, you're mobile, you're going to someone's house, you're going to mix up this blend, it's not always realistic to have to do all of that. And I guess that's the other thing. There's so many different avenues like mobile. A lot of people can do mobile massage, go into people's homes, or you could work for a company doing that.
Yeah. I think when you go to college, you definitely learn all and everything. And when you get out into industry, it's good to see that everything that you learn in college isn't necessarily exactly how it has to be. Like you're saying, with the blend, you go to a lot of places, it's already pre-blended. But that's the kind of thing that you would learn by working for someone. If you just went off straight on your own, then you'd kind of continue down the route that you did at college. But yeah, so I think that's where, like, if you're a learner,
fills the gaps in a lot.
It's a good place to start. And I would say, from experience in training I've had on other things as well, I've kind of gone straight into wanting to do it from home, tried it out, and it's not worked out because I didn't have that experience of actually working on bodies, but also like knowledge of how to push my business and things like that. So it took me as a learner going and getting a job, which I didn't think I was qualified for, to feel comfortable and confident later on down the line. So I think on both sides, it works out well for both of you. Like the employer and the learner.
And if you are more experienced therapist wanting to, maybe you've tried doing it for yourself and you want to go into a space, then you've got a lot of leverage. There's a lot of people that go into this industry young and don't stay at it.
Yeah.
And go in a different path. All that experience, all that knowledge, all of the hundreds of people that you've massaged, like, it can totally build you up. So although we're saying you could not be like, you'd be a bit less adaptable or like not so much to mold, that can also be a good thing, because some people might want someone, say you've got a beauty salon where only one person does massage or like predominantly massage, and you're that person, like, they might need someone that has that experience, has that structure, has everything that you've gained over the years to be the right fit. So,
and it is nice, I think, as well, like, you have to spend a lot of time with a learner.
Yeah.
Whereas someone experienced, like, just the pros and cons of someone who's experienced, you know that they can kind of just come in and kind of get working straight away.
Pick things up very quickly.
Yeah.
And like a lot, well, for you, for example, you came in, you didn't know reflexology. So that's, although we've got to do the training for how we do massage and facials, you also didn't know reflexology. So there's also the training in that. So like when this lady starts, we'll have 2 weeks of training.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of time.
Effort. Yeah.
And ultimately, you don't know if that person's going to be for the long haul. So then spend 2 weeks of training, like one-on-one with them, is quite a lot. So it depends how your business runs, if you're hiring and if they're looking for you. But ultimately, I guess in the job description, you'll know.
So what do you look for when you are hiring in this industry?
Oh,
Just putting you on the spot there.
I don't know.
Like, when you go into these interviews, do you have criteria, or are you just, is it more based on the vibe, how the person is, their massage, obviously, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Or do you go in knowing exactly what you want and you have almost like a checklist? How does it work for you?
Our interviews are like, obviously I'll have a phone call with them initially. A lot of them, I feel like I can tell a lot from the CV. Also a lot with the cover letter. That's something that I never used to do when I applied for something. I never used to do a cover letter. But then that's because, going back to what I said, I would apply to anything.
Yeah.
Like, I would just send my CV to anything. And I wouldn't do the cover letter where I wasn't that invested. What I've noticed is people that apply also do a personalised cover letter to us. They're more the type of people that are like, I want to work that, like, in that space. I'm not applying to 5 other jobs. I'm just applying to that one position, which I quite like. The more like personalized touch of it. I look for like, have you done your research? Like, do you know stuff about us? Obviously we're a new company, but there is a lot of information on our website. Like, do your background knowledge. Like, do you know that we have a podcast? Do you know that we do YouTube? Do you know there's like other aspects to it other than just the treatments? I expect you to know what we like specialize in. If you don't know we only do 3 things, then you've not done that much research. I look for all of those like knowledge on the company and what we provide, why you think that you can embody what we do, and why you'd be a good like fit for the business, as in like not a role model, but like, I don't know, why do you think that you could like lead the business type thing, as in like be like, oh, I work there and this is kind of why. But then also from my side, I want to see them asking me questions and show interest. If someone doesn't ask me a question at the end, I'm a bit like, Like, I can cover a lot of things, but I sometimes will leave certain things out to see if you want, like, ask the question. I want to see the engagement. Like, are you looking at me when I'm speaking? Sometimes people can be really nervous.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And a lot of people just come in and be like, I'm really nervous.
I think you can probably tell the difference between someone who's quite nervous,
the body language is just
someone who's maybe not 100%.
And if you are that way, just like as much as possible, try and keep that eye contact, because I'll notice if your eyes are like around me and not on me.
I think honesty, I noticed, just speaking on that from an interview I did a long time ago, before I was even, a long time ago. And I remember specifically saying, like, oh, I'm a bit like anxious. And something else I said, and they kind of picked up on that, and they were like, "Oh, I really appreciate you just making us aware of that. It helps us to know where to go with the interview and to like understand your reactions as well as I just think it is important to say, because you can almost do yourself a disservice by not, like, as the person who's going for the interview, you can do yourself a disservice. But
is that at the end, I think it almost breaks up to be like, first of all, my interviews are pretty relaxed, but it almost breaks out to be like, you're actually human, I'm human. It's nothing that is that deep.
Yeah.
And I actually don't mind if someone shows nerves or a bit like anxiousness, because I actually think that person probably more than likely cares about this position, rather than other people I've had in have been so like, I want someone to back themselves, but they're still coming for a position ultimately. So I want confidence, but I also want, I don't know, I think it's very normal that people get anxious, and I think it does show that sign of like, I want this position. I'm really like I'm really like interested in getting this job.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that at all. And actually, I like to just make it nice and easy when someone says that, because it doesn't need to be this like, I want to ask like the hard hitting questions, but I don't want it to be where you're like too scared and nervous to like really speak openly. Our interviews are probably about an hour like long. We'll have a general chit chat, I'll ask the questions, and then we do a trade test, which is for me, I always do. We all good over there? For me, I do a trade test, which is a 20-minute massage. For me, as long as they've got a massage qualification here, then I can teach everything else. I can teach reflexology, and they just would fall under my name then on everything that I've taught. But for me, like the minimum is definitely obviously a massage qualification.
Yeah.
And everything else can be expanded on, really. And the thing is, when you hire, you get so many applicants, but some of them that you'll look at and you will know, like you won't look at the CV twice. You won't even call them because they're just so far away from what you're looking for. And they say that to say like, just go for the position, because there's probably a lot of other people that have no qualifications, nothing, and you have at least something, especially if you listen to this, you're probably within the industry. And also, like, when you don't get a position, you can ask them why. You know, this time round, obviously we've hired, twice now? Because this time round, say again?
Successfully.
Yeah, successfully. Whereas, like, when I hired Amy, it wasn't an interview process, obviously, best friends so it wasn't anything. And when I hired the other lady in the beginning, she contacted me, and I wasn't looking for anyone.
Oh yeah.
And I just and I kind of went with it. I thought, this is kind of fallen into my lap, like it could work. But this time around, we've had like a lot more interest, and a lot more like good, solid interest, where people have been really like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, you go forward with them. No, I don't. Really, they have a lot of, what am I trying to say? Basically, they're
enthusiastic about the role. They want the role. They're not. You can tell they're not just applying to 40 different jobs. They really want this position.
Yeah, exactly. So this time round it was hard, but I think we've got the right one. But when it is like that, I try and give feedback in my like phone calls to say they haven't got it, or in my emails to say they haven't got it, just so that, especially if I've connected with them and they've been like maybe coming into the industry at different stages, I just want them to know this is the reason. Because I think sometimes when you don't get a position, especially when you've gone to an interview, you've made that effort, you're a bit like, but why?
Yeah.
You know, like what is... And also, like, one of the people that I didn't hire, I would love for her to work here if another position came up. So I also don't I don't want to burn, although I'm employing, I don't want to burn bridges.
Yes.
And in some ways, they are also interviewing me. And like, why should they work here? Like, what is it that is good about this place?
You could offer the job and they could say, thanks, but no thanks.
And that's a fear I had. I was like, oh, I'm really dedicated to this person. And what if they just say no?
Yeah, it's hard on both ends, I think.
Especially when it's like personal. Like, it's not, no.
No, but you felt like
For me, I feel like my whole life, although I don't want to change it, but like my whole life is dedicated around this. Okay. Like everything I think about is this. So it feels personal in that sense. Although it is a business, it is very personal to me because it feels like me. I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't even know what I'm talking about now.
It's gutting when you think someone is the perfect fit.
Yeah.
And if they, not that you've had this,
for me,
but you can imagine
I'm pretty sure on them. Yeah. And I'm like, I really want them. So if they were to decline for me as well, it would be upsetting.
You'd be thinking, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with us? I'd say, excuse me.
Give me feedback.
But it's because it goes both ways. Yeah. It is a mutual like partnership of like, I want to work there and I want to hire you. So remember that when you go for an interview, it's not all just about like don't be too scared that I'm like, oh, it's all about me. It's also no, like, do you want to work there? Why would it be a good fit for you?
And I think as well, like sometimes you get offered a job and you think, oh my gosh, amazing, but if you don't feel that 100% connection with it, you don't have to go for that job.
No, there is so many jobs and so many industries and so many people. If you don't connect with us, you'll connect with someone else. And that was the thing with some of them. They would just not have vibed with us. And I don't want anything, like, first and foremost, I don't want anything to affect, like, what we currently have. Yeah. Because the space is so nice, it's so welcoming. Our community of clients is so lovely. No one's gonna mess that up.
No.
So by the time this comes out, then you should have met our new lady, which will be starting first week of July.
Yeah.
So we will be a team of 4. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which will be nice.
On, just over, well, what did we say?
16 months.
It'll
June.
It'll be 15 months on.
Yeah.
March. No, May, June, July. No. Oh, I don't know.
We opened in March.
Yeah, 15 months.
15 months. April, May, June.
You have a full team.
Yeah, I know. And I thought we had a full team with Chloe. As in, like, just the 3 of us. But I'm trying to position the business in a way where it's like, well, I think it's at a stage where I need to work more on it. Still going to be in the treatment room, but not as much, just to try and push the business forward, because there's a lot of stuff I need to do that I can't do whilst being hands-on.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason for the new hire, really. And also just that there is time, allows more like holidays where there's actually proper cover.
Yeah, because it's hard when you have a smaller team.
Yeah. And it's at a good time. Well, it's like at the right time for us to take someone on, which I didn't think, when I started this year, I didn't think that we'd have taken on too many people, but going with the flow.
Here we are.
Yeah. So you'll meet her all soon, but otherwise I think that's us for today.
Yeah.
So till next time, my name's Megan.
Socials. Hello.
The socials. So make sure that you're checking us out on Instagram. Our handle is Amore Studio. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and all the good stuff.
And give us a rating if you want to.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
Yeah, give us a rating on our Spotify. And also make sure you're following us. I think I've said that on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and give us comments. And also, if you want to pop a message to us with some dilemmas, we are still doing those. So yeah.
Yeah, email is hello@luxamore.com. But otherwise, I think that is us done.
Yeah, we are done.
So my name's Megan.
And my name's Amy.
Till next time, we're checking out.